11 candidates are vying to become Winnipeg's 44th mayor. We sat down with former city councillor Scott Gillingham to find out what he plans to bring to the city's top job.
You served as city councillor for 2 terms. Why do you want to be mayor here?
Well, I believe that right now I've got the current experience and the right current experience to know what the city does well and what we need to improve on to make a stronger and healthier city. And also what we need to do to seize the opportunities that are before us to build our city for the future.
And you plan to raise taxes by 3.5%, which will go towards the roads and the transit plan here. You also want to widen Kenaston and expand Chief Peguis from Main Street all the way to Route 90. Maybe why do you think this is achievable? Maybe why you want to do this right now?
Chief Peguis and Kenaston are trade routes, and so they're important for our economy, to open our economy up. They will also connect to Centerport, and the development of Centerport is really the future of where many of our jobs will be for this city. At full build-out, Centerport will create 16,000 jobs. So I think about my children and my grandchildren, and new Canadians moving to Winnipeg. Centerport will be key. So opening up those trade routes, Chief Peguis and Kenaston, is vital.
And crime is obviously a hot topic. We see the homicide numbers continue to rise. Youth crimes and violent crimes are also on the rise here. You have plans to shift police focus back to crime prevention. You want to bring permanent funding for the Downtown Community Safety Partnership. You're also planning to ask transit and public safety officials about increasing security at major transit stops and pedestrian routes in high crime areas. If you were also to become mayor, you would also sit on the police board. Maybe just explain why you think that's a good idea.
By sitting on the police board, that will help me as mayor be very connected to what's happening with the police service and make sure that the priorities of policing and the way we do policing can be fulfilled. What's really important to, focusing back to crime prevention is also making sure we have a coordinated strategic strategy. And I've talked about the building of that kind of strategy where it's not just police, but it's the Downtown Community Safety Partnership. And it's groups like Main Street Project, and it's provincial departments and businesses and, local biz zones, the Bear Clan, everybody kind of coming to the table and together working on a coordinated strategy to ensure that our community is safer. And that can all happen if we pull together, and I'm committed to that. And that's the way, one of the key ways we do crime prevention and focusing on preventing crime before it happens.
We've seen, lots of crime, at the Forks and in the downtown area. And bringing people downtown is also a big topic. I mean, there are restaurants, there are hockey games, there's some festivals that happen throughout the year. But in hindsight, there's not a lot that brings people downtown, as majority of people live in the suburbs. You sat on city council for 2 terms. So maybe what did you learn from being a councillor that you could apply as mayor to bring people downtown?
I've talked about the need to look at office to residential conversions, to build more housing in the Portage Place property to make sure that it's reaching its full potential, taking surface parking lots and converting some of those to housing. The more people we have living downtown, it becomes safer. When you've got feet on the street, as the saying goes, and more people calling the core of the city their home, it will make the community safer.
And lastly, Scott, here, if you were to be elected mayor, where do you see the state of our city in 5 years' time?
Crime rates would be down. Fewer people would be on the street, homeless and addicted. The transit system would be used by more and more people because it's reliable, it's dependable. Our community's safer, our economy's thriving and growing, and our children, your children, my children, are staying in Winnipeg and moving across the street or across the neighborhood instead of across the country. They're staying here, they're planting roots here, they're growing here, and they're thriving here.
Stay tuned to City News Winnipeg as we bring you more conversations with other mayoral candidates ahead of the election. In Winnipeg, Alex Karpa, City News.